Hello, my name is Jason, and this is my DSARI project for this class. To start off, I live in an apartment called the Station in Washington. It is about a block away from the U of N campus. I live in a single bedroom with 550 square feet. The typical annual electric use of my apartment is roughly around 260 kilowatt per month, with roughly 8.5 kilowatt hour per day as seen in table 2. As for someone who lives alone, it seems that the average kilowatt hour per day is 19.7 according to figure 1. Now, as for how the electricity is used in my apartment, I normally unplug things and turn stuff off that's not being used to save some money on the bill, such as the electric kettle and a 3D printer. As for lighting wise, I normally just turn stuff off when I'm not in that specific area just because there's no need if I'm not really there. As for heating, I normally leave the heating at a temperature where I feel good without having to use a set of clothing. As for this project, I'll be measuring the devices as listed in table 1 of the modem, laptop, air purifier, 3D printer, rice cooker, electric kettle, lamp, and phone. As you can see, I also listed the typical wattage in which they would be used. So the devices, here's for the 8 devices. I listed the names of each device alongside what power device it is, if it's a variable power device or is it with that alongside a specific cycle, and whether it's a constant. So here's 4 of the 8, and here's the other set. And as for the data collection, for data collection for the weekly time log, I use my phone and some notes. Since the phone is able to record the time, I also wrote that time down on the notes so I know. And then after I did it for the day, I would plot those times onto the table so I can visually see it better, as seen in table 3. And you can also see a better visual in figure 2, which showcases that the most hours of the device is obviously the modem is always on. And then here's the data which I gathered and calculated. As seen in figure 3, I showcased the equations which would be used to calculate the variable power device, the variable power device with cycles, and then constant power device. And then I also show an example right below it. It showcases it for the laptop, the rice cooker, and the modem alongside the lamp. And then you can see in table 4, which has a more condensed version of it, of all the devices that I have done. And for the data that I've collected for the kilowatt hour per week, as seen in figure 3, I found that the modem used most of the kilowatt hour. I was not surprised about the modem as it's not what I expected since it's 24 hours. What really surprised me though was the electric kettle. Despite the kettle being used once a day, it still consumed the most per week. Looking at the measured watts on the device as compared to the device specs found online, it seems that my devices were really low as compared to what's seen online. This may be due to the fact that my devices weren't on full power as compared to what those specs, as I assume they use the full power of their device. And then as for how I would reduce my electricity usage, I would drop the usage of my modem to change it from 24 hours to 16 hours just because of the fact that I get roughly 8 hours of sleep. And then if I were to use the modem for 16 hours, I would save roughly about 9% of my energy by unplugging it for the night. As for the other devices, I feel like it won't be much need due to the fact that they only affect roughly 10.5% of the whole 60 kilowatt hour per month, as was seen in Table 1 that states it, or Table 2 that states it. And then that would be all for what this project has. Here's my references, and thank you for listening.